Ocala Live. Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Isn't that a powerful song right there?
Very powerful.
All right, we got some powerful people in the studio, and their power is expressed in gentleness. Does that make sense? Power expressed in gentleness. Beautiful plants over at Bob Wines. Lori Williams is here from Bob Wines, as always, and Mr. George from Mr. George Ministries is here with Lori. A gentleman doing a powerful thing, helping out the homeless. He knows what it's like to be homeless because he was homeless. And so good morning to Lori. Good morning to Mr. George. How you guys doing?
Morning.
So tomorrow, two days from today, you're going to be handing out food and hygiene items again?
And clothing, yes.
Is this the first time I've seen you in glasses? I don't remember seeing you.
So.
Good, nice. You look good in glasses.
Thank you.
They look really pretty. I like the color and the shape. Very, very sharp.
Thank you.
See, I want to get new glasses.
They're my reading glasses.
I need everything glasses. I need everything glasses. Yeah. So how are you guys? You said you're ready for the cold to be done. I think
Yes,
your
I'm
wish
ready
is coming
for it.
true as we
Yes.
speak. So
Yes.
Yeah.
It'll be nice Saturday. The weather's supposed to be nice Saturday for our function that's going on downtown, where we'll be feeding the homeless. We are planning on about 125 to 150 people.
Wow,
is what we're going to be doing.
Amazing.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
amazing.
Yeah.
And Mr. George, I have a question for you. I was reading something about your biography. So you started feeding homeless people shortly after you were no longer homeless.
Right.
What did you do? Did you actually hand out bologna sandwiches in bags?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
First, I want to give thanks to the Lord that He's, my Lord and Savior, and give Him all the glory and the praises. And everybody that's in the midst that donated, and thank you all for doing that. And yes, I was homeless for a little while, for about 4 years. And I used to see, I started working in the Salvation Army, volunteering. So I used to see a whole bunch of homeless people out there, and I'm like, you know what? And I'm over here worrying about me, and look at all the people that's out there that's in need, So it just touched me and it hit me. So, I just gathered, was doing my little jobs here and there and gathered some other money together.
Right.
And then I just started every month, just gathering all the little chump change that I had and, putting it together if I could feed the homeless. So I was doing bologna sandwiches, water, and, oranges, and, just a bag lunch that at least it would hold them onto when it was time to eat, because they had other areas they could have gone to eat.
I bet you they loved getting that too, right?
Yes, they did, So, I just kept going, and then I was at this ministry, and I was ordained to be an outreach, to minister, to go and do this, to serve. So I was taking care of the pantry, so I was helping families too, because we were a church for Restoration Ministry that is under listing, that they were calling them, and we would get bags together and feed the family. So I said, what? I said, we're doing the family. I could still stretch out and do my friends again. Go out and touch my people that I know, that I seen, that are homeless. So that's how I started.
After you came out of that circumstance, did you look back on it and say, I could have done this 3 years ago instead of having to wait 4 years?
Yes.
What would you have done differently if you could have, if you could talk to your younger self, what could you do differently?
Like I said, I was raised with a lot of big family, so it was always a lot of food around the house. So, it was to share a plate. It was no big deal, because, like our parents in the old school days, they will not only cook for 5, they'll cook for 20, Right. It was one of those deals. So I felt the same way. I said, if I could eat, and if I'm eating and somebody's next to me and don't have nothing to eat, why not give them a piece? If it was something to at least
do something,
right. So that was my goal, and thank God that God leading me to do this, and I give Him all the glory and praises that He's blessing me in doing this.
The other day we were at the little shopping place next door. What is there? Ollie's. Ollie's? Is it called
yeah.
Ollie's? Okay, all right. And the guy came up to us in the parking lot and he asked us if he could have $11. He needed to get a room. He needed $11. I didn't have $11. And I said, well, have you tried the Salvation Army? I know it's a long way from here, but I can drive you there.
Right.
And he said, oh, they're full. They won't take me. So I thought, well, maybe he's just putting me on. Let me call them up. Because we had him in the studio. So I called him up with my speakerphone so he could hear them, so he didn't think I was putting him on.
Right.
And they did tell me they were full. But they also told me that if he has an arrest record where he had a violent crime charge,
Yes.
Right.
that he wouldn't be allowed in there.
Or if he was
Okay.
a sex offender.
Right, because they don't do that.
So he didn't say he was a sex offender. He said he had a violent crime charge, so they wouldn't let him in there. So how does a guy like that get out? He made a mistake. He's trying to figure out a way to make himself better, and I'm not being judgmental. I'm just trying to figure out what could I have done to help him aside from a few dollars.
Well, in Marion County, it's not too many shelters for men. There's really more for women than men. They limit it, so it's really hard for them to find a place to get shelter. So. Because the only place that I know and I experienced was Salvation Army,
See, because I thought to myself, okay, he needed $11 more to get a room. I'm assuming at a hotel nearby, right? So $11 more gets him in the room for the night. The next morning, he's got to get up and go back out again.
Yes.
But I would rather see him get some kind of, I don't know, help, just network with other people who he can benefit from.
He can get a job.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
For what I experienced, if you go to the Salvation Army in the mornings, you could always reserve, or it's really first come, first get. So you have to be there at a certain time, to be there. I believe it was after 5, something like that, for you could sign up, and then hopefully get a bed if somebody don't show up, or they might have a bed for you. So those are the odds. So, you have to make that first step. You got to go for it. You cannot lean on somebody to do for you and all that, because it's hard to give money to anybody, really, these days, because your heart is there to giving, but you don't know what they're going to do with it.
Exactly. And also the gentleman from the Salvation Army said that it was predicted to have rain that same night that Larry called. So he said they don't turn anybody away. That he would have been welcome if he wouldn't have had that assault charge, and he would have come and they would have found a place for him to sleep.
Right, because they have rain nights. Right, they have rain nights, and they don't close no doors on anybody on rain nights, no matter what time they come, I believe.
Remember that song, I Love a Rainy Night? I love a rainy night. Eddie Rabbit. That's right.
But you really did something amazing, Mr. George, just like Larry was saying. I mean, this gentleman should learn to help himself, and that's exactly what you did. You mustered the courage and the embarrassment, and you did it.
Right, you got to get off your pride and go for it, because you're the one that's in need, so you have to make that first step.
Yeah, because when we met Mr. George, he didn't have a place to stay. He was at the Salvation Army. He didn't have a car.
You were at the Salvation Army? How'd you meet?
I was not at the Salvation Army. He was at the Salvation Army.
How'd you meet him?
We met him at the church that he goes to. We went to the church that he went to, and we met him there. Okay. And then in the process, we found out that years back, he had come to the nursery and had bought plants from us at the nursery. Something kind of common there. So now he works with us at the nursery also. And now he has his own apartment. And now he's giving back, which is, I think, it's just wonderful that he's able, to give back to so many that don't have.
Yeah. The meek shall inherit the earth. Is that from the Bible, Robin?
Yes.
Where did I hear
that?
Is that from the Bible?
Yes.
So don't worry. Your future looks pretty good.
Thanks.
Yes.
So, and you're serving food on Saturday, and you've got a really balanced menu also.
Yeah, we are. We're actually serving chicken, which we're getting from Pasta Fair, and Pasta Fair is absolutely wonderful in helping us out with that. We're getting chicken from them. We're getting ham, which is we're getting from Honey Baked Ham, which he's giving us a discount on our ham that we're getting. You can't get no better than Honey Baked Ham. And then we're going to have some veggies, some steamed veggies, baked beans, and then some bread for them, which we have a gentleman that gives us bread. He brings bread to the nursery every week, and we have another group that come and they pick the bread up from us.
Really?
And they go out to some of the lower income housing places and give the bread out. And you would be amazed. He came last week and got a whole truckload of bread from us. us.
Wow.
And took it out. And he just said he pulled his car up in, to the places, honked his horn, and people just came out. I guess they expect him to come, and they anticipate him coming. And they came out, and the bread was gone like that fast.
Really?
Yes, exactly. And it's good bread, too. It's fresh baked bread.
As a matter of fact, hold on. Let me just show you
He does.
something.
He brought a little bit because
Did you bring some bread?
he actually did.
Oh, you did? I was camping.
I brought you some bread.
Brought you some bread.
We're going to have lunch today.
Yes.
And it's better than just bread.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, my God.
It's pita bread.
Pita bread.
Pita
Yeah,
bread.
and whole wheat. So.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
You have a choice here, and I have enough for the staff here if anybody wants.
Oh, you're
anything.
giving this to the radio
Yes,
station?
Yeah,
it's
we're
for all of
giving
you.
it to
Yes.
Robin, I know what I'm
Yes.
going to put my turkey on now.
There you go.
It's Village Bread and Bagels out of Jacksonville. Isn't that
Well, thank you for that. That's
Yeah.
pretty
Oh, I
you.
appreciate it. Yeah.
That is wonderful.
You know, I was camping in Quebec one time, and everybody speaks French. And this lady in the station wagon came up, and she was selling bread. I had no idea what she was saying. She was telling me something about bread, but I didn't. But she wasn't using the word bread. It was
Right,
like
right.
pain. Pain. Does that sound like bread? Doesn't even sound
Doesn't
close.
even sound close to it.
Right? Pain. And I said, pain? I don't know what you mean. And then so she showed me the back of her station where it was covered with, filled with bread. Yeah. So, well, thank you for this.
But and some other stuff that we're doing also on Saturday is we're going to be giving away hygiene kits, which we did before, which will have toothpaste, toothbrush, soap, shampoo, washcloths,
shavers,
toilet paper.
Have you bought
Nice.
a toothbrush lately?
Yes.
Aren't they getting big?
Actually, I haven't had to buy a toothbrush because we have had toothbrushes and toothpaste donated to us like you would not believe.
Do you think toothbrushes are getting bigger?
Yeah,
They're getting heavier, some of them are.
And wider.
They're so
And
wide.
yes,
They
yes,
don't fit in
yes.
the little thing anymore.
You're exactly right. They do not.
What are they thinking?
Yes.
Pretty soon you're not going to be able to fit it in your mouth. I'm just making an observation here on toothbrushes.
Yes.
And you're also going to have clothing.
Yes, we have quite a bit of clothing. We've gotten quite a bit of socks in too, which
Yes.
we're going to give socks away also. But clothing, we are planning on giving away clothing also.
Yes, women and
men, yes.
We
Yeah,
have some shoes.
exactly,
We
yes.
have all the
Yes.
above.
And a little bit of kids' clothing
Yeah,
too.
yes,
So,
yes.
yeah.
So when you were homeless, what was the one thing you wished would be given to you? A blanket or clothing or food? I'm guessing
Yes, a
food.
blanket, a jacket.
Where were you sleeping when you were homeless?
I was staying out in the streets I would go to the church, to the hospital and sleep in the
You're
parking lot.
so nice. Did people treat you nice, or were people mean to you?
Yeah, no, they were nice to me because it's the appearance, I'm saying, the way you approach people and all
Right,
that's a big issue too, I'm saying, you got to make it look.
Did you bag at all?
No, I never went around begging
never
anything.
begged?
I was mostly, conducting, we'll find that I would go and look for work,
You're such a gentleman. And such
I always
a
worked.
gentleman and a gentleman.
I always went to all the labor pools, and I'm grateful for them. And like I
did you
said,
get
it was a
work
good
too?
help. I got yes.
Oh, you did?
Because I was a person that was talented in a lot of areas, that I was grateful that God gave me that talent, that I had opportunities and to work in a lot of good areas to making decent dollar,
nice.
but not enough to get an apartment at the time, because
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
you got to pray and hope that you could get a repeat.
Yeah,
It depends on your
Right. Yeah, it's not easy.
Right. It's not easy. That's what I'm
then
saying. You got to make all the effort.
And then you needed transportation as well. So
Transportation.
eventually you're able to get a vehicle.
Vehicle, yes. And the miss I got me a vehicle, and that would help, that I could transport some people and make a couple of extra dollars if I'm done from doing that. And it was grateful.
Just to get back and forth to work too.
Yes.
Oh,
You
yeah.
got to have a vehicle.
Yes.
Makes it hard if you don't. There's this
Yeah.
city bus, but it's still difficult.
And then now speaking, I didn't know, you just had a gentleman that was here, that he's from the veterans.
Gary.
And yes, Gary. And I didn't even know he was Gary. So
Oh, you
coming
guys-
in now and seeing him, it was like a great honor, because
your kindred
he was a
spirits.
great help for me. To me, he was Very great help. Him and
he's-
Miss Alice, because they were together as a team working at the Salvation Army.
Is that his wife?
No. Miss Alice is the one that runs
Okay.
the coordinator that runs the whole Salvation Army at the shelter. But anyway, it was great to see him and all that, and him talking, and I was like, God, what can I say? What can I do? What can I, give me some, some good words. So I could, and then by seeing him and hearing that it was him talking about what he, just following from the veterans and all this, and the same thing I would say about the veterans. They're welcome too to come and eat and get whatever they can, because my heart is for them too. I worked around with Mr. Gary around them and been with them, so I know what they needs. And the same thing, if we get food pantries and all that, because normally I run into where the food pantries are, and I get food, and I'm willing and helping to see if I could help them too, and give them. So now I just exchange cards
awesome.
with Mr. Gary, and
That's awesome.
we're going to be connected hopefully.
Nice.
You're a pick-me-up every time I listen to you talk. You are listening to Mr. George. He does not have a last name. Well, he does, but he doesn't like to tell it. I don't know. Mr. George Ministries. Lori Williams is here from Bob Wine's Community Gardens, and Mr. George and Bob Wines have teamed up to put on some really amazing things for the homeless. And you've got one coming up this coming Saturday. And give us the time and all that again.
It's going to be Saturday, the 16th, from 10:30 till noon, downtown in the courthouse parking lot, which is on the corner of like 1st and 3rd, between 1st and 3rd Street is where it's at. Something else we want people to remember, too, you remember how cold it was?
Yes.
Christmas parade night.
Yes.
We were all sitting there all bundled up in our jackets.
Oh,
yes.
But you have to stop and think about the homeless people.
Yes.
And how we can go home and heat ourselves up. They can't. It makes you want to help them when you think of that.
Absolutely.
It really does.
Yeah, that Saturday I had a couple of blankets, and I pulled up to the
Yes.
Salvation Army, and you should have seen, man, how many people came up to me that wanted a blanket.
Yeah.
But I only had so
had
many.
a
I wish
few,
I would have
yeah.
had a truckload.
Exactly.
Because I would have gave it all out.
Yep.
I have some electric socks. Maybe I can give them some.
Or whatever. Every little bit
Battery
helps.
operated,
Have you ever tried electric socks?
Oh my
No.
God! They just think they're gonna have to probably sit somewhere
Here's
where
the-
there's a socket now.
Just a battery.
Yeah, right. The corner house or the square or something.
It's a battery.
But here's the problem with it. Your whole body's cold, but your feet are warm.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's right.
That's why you need the blankets. That's why you need the blankets.
And when the people come on Saturday, chances are there are some of them that want to get out of their situation, and they'll be able to speak to you personally,
Yes,
Mr.
yes,
George, so
yes.
you can direct them
Right, yes.
as to how they can go to
Yes.
get a home, get a job.
So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the staff that we have, because a lot of them are ordained for that. You
Yes.
know, that they pastors, the ministers, they
Yes.
people from church. They know they have sources. So it's not that I'm the only one with the source. They all have it. So it's a good thing that they all part of what I'm doing and giving out.
And we still are looking for donations, so if anybody wants to still donate,
Yes.
we are still hygiene products, clothing, backpacks,
Right, because
jackets.
this is gonna be a time-
And we're going to continue. It's not
Right,
just, we're not
it's-
just doing it
right.
because it's Christmas time.
Right.
So we just want everybody to know. And you can drop stuff off at Bob Wine's Community Gardens. We have another drop-off, which is Dr. Pedro Orta. His Healthy Living, Natural Health and Plan Management Center, which is on the Boulevard, is another place that you can drop stuff off at, too. So,
Yes,
That's wonderful.
because we're planning on doing this every month.
Yes.
And it's on every third Saturday of the
Yes.
month.
Oh,
So this
wonderful.
is our goal. And so far, that's what we're striving for, and we're just working on it, and
Yes.
hopefully that we get stronger, that we could do more days if we can,
And that way the homeless population will be decreasing, because they'll feel that they are worth something, and they'll give back to
Right,
community when
right.
they get
Right,
set up with the
right.
job. And
Exactly.
That's our...
Mr. George and Lori Williams are here, and we do have a phone call. If you can hear me on your headset, you'll be able to hear the caller. Good morning. Thank you for calling. You're on the air.
Could they use jackets also?
oh, for sure, definitely.
Sure.
Yes.
Jackets,
long
Can
sleeve
we drop them
shirts.
off at Bob Wine?
Yes,
Yes.
just drop them off at Bob Wine's Community Gardens, yes, which is 2610 Southeast 38th Street, right off of 17th Street and Lakeware Avenue. That would be great if anybody has jackets, anything to keep you warm,
Yes, sweatshirts,
Yeah.
long johns, anything that would keep you warm. We don't know what cold is, so hopefully we could keep you warm. We'll appreciate every little bit of it.
Yes.
All righty, thank you. I'll drop some off.
Thank you. We
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
you.
Thank you. That was sweet.
God bless you.
We have the
That's
best audience.
Yes.
I mean, we really do.
You don't- yeah.
Look at the toys behind it. That's all from the
That's
audience.
great.
God bless.
That's
That's
all
great.
from the
Yes.
audience. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Those are for children who are homeless as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All over Marion County, they'll be
That is
distributed.
great.
That's great, yes.
Yes.
And now, Lori, when you go home at night, you have a warm bed to sleep in. Mr. George, you have a warm bed to sleep in.
Yes.
But I'm sure in your thoughts and prayers, your wheels keep turning as to how more you can help people
Yes.
to get out of their situation and into a situation like yours.
Yes, for sure.
Yes, you know, when I come out of work, I drive by Salvation Army every day because I live not too far from there. And just seeing where I came from and seeing the same, you know, it's like it's a touching feeling. It's hard, you know, because like you said, you know, I'm going home to a warm house to eat and a warm bed. And knowing that I have friends and people that, even if they're not friends, just people that are homeless, you know, that need, and it's just sad to see that they don't have that.
How do you get them motivated to get over the embarrassment to help themselves, to ask?
Well, like I said, it's really up to them, really, because you could tell them everything
have to
you
give
want to
them
tell them,
encouragement,
and then
you
just
know.
give them all the strength that you had,
Yep.
and you know, explain to them and talk to them. Sometimes they will listen, sometimes they don't want to listen because you know
But if they'll listen to
everybody's
your
story is not the same. Remember, it's not about drugs, it's not about drinking, it's not about crimes or whatever. You know, somebody got hurt somewhere down the line that they need help, that if they will see or somebody
Right,
be there to guide them in one area, that might be a lift off for them.
You know, did I ever share with you that I used to work at the juvenile detention center? And I did, and 7 years I did that. And,
wow.
and so these kids sometimes in the daytime would be wild. I mean, and you just
Yes.
want to yell at them, stop down, get on! But at night when they were sleeping, you'd walk down the halls to make sure everybody was safe, and you'd look into the windows of their rooms, and you say, oh my gosh, they look so sweet. How can this kid be such a terror in the daytime?
During the day.
and I often think that's true for all of us. You know,
Yes.
that as horrible as mankind can be, in his at the core of men and women, we are basically just little children. We just want to I don't know, live and survive and be warm at night, right?
Yes.
That's right.
And cool in the summer.
That's right. That's right.
And that's really wonderful that this is something that Bob Wine's Community Gardens and Plant Nursery is doing all year long,
Yes.
because it's not just the holidays that people need help.
That's right. They
Yes,
need it
yes.
all year long. So
Yes.
that's what we're striving for, to do that.
It was just that it was a good timing that
Yes.
a lot of things, you know, 'cause I wanted to do, I started last year, you know, and I did it 3 times last year in the midst before and then into the holidays. And then my truck broke down, so I was, Miss Laurie and Bob helped me up a little bit, and they were lending me their truck, but I don't, take advantage of things that it was given and done for me. So I should have told them that I could have used the truck, and they told me, you should have told me, I would have lent you the truck to keep going what you're doing, you know.
Yeah.
So, and then, I asked and I cried and I prayed to the Lord and I told him, please, God, I need my truck fixed, see, so let's make a way that you could bless me with this before I could give it back. And
Sometimes your prayers are answered by angels on earth.
Right.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, God gives us the blessing, but we forget to give him the praises and the thanks for the manifestations that we get, because we all forget about that, because he's in great power and he does good work. So we got to realize and see it, that it's not you, it's God that's doing this for you.
Yes. How many times have we missed an opportunity that
Yes.
we didn't realize was a gift from God?
Right, and then you take it on like, oh, this is what I did, and then you fall short, because everything is seasonal. You might have a great season, but then you don't know what's going on next season if you didn't apply and kept going, and being faithful and doing what you're doing.
And Lori, you have created a 501c3 organization, Spirits of Flame.
Well, yeah, that's been around for an awfully long time.
Oh, okay.
Spirits of Flame has, and the Spirits of Flame is an organization that helps a number of different ministries in our area, and it's just they help us out also for Mr. George's ministry. So, and if
And I'm
anybody
so
wants to
grateful
donate,
for them. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Well, thank you for what you're doing. This is the season where we are reminded on a daily basis that we are nothing without God.
That's right.
And,
we ain't nothing without Him.
and we're not anything without each other either.
That's
So
right. That's right. That's
Thank you
another.
for
Because
reminding
remember,
us of that.
like we say, one nation under God. So I would love to see all the churches get together and fellowship more. That we do, because we don't fellowship. We should fellowship more and get together
Yeah.
and do. And make this world a better place, because if we get together, no matter what denomination you are, whatever, we all believe in one God, and I don't care what anybody says, only one God.
You are truly a minister, Mr. George. Thank you for the courage to come in and tell your story. It wasn't easy for you, I know. And
I know.
the couple of visits we've had with you, we've learned so much from you. And everybody else, we can help them do this great work. Just call Bob Wines.
Yeah, just call Bob Wines Nursery, 352-629-5766.
And thank you, listeners, for being there, because you guys make us look good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu.
We didn't become great through